Wednesday, May 27th, the Breaking and Entering live show. Welcome. Marketing news, advertising news you need to know live coming at you. It's 11 a.m. Eastern, presented by Rothmans. Gino, big show today. We're talking about a Nike spec ad that's taking over the internet. We've got Nike and Wayne Rooney releasing their first World Cup ads that they teased heavily. We've got Chili's baby back ribs coming back into the fold. We've got a debut of new work from Arts and Letters. Gino, an ad agency, is debuting their work live on the Breaking and Entering show. And then we've got the maker of the Nike spec ad that's taking over the internet, the Just Pray, Victor Wembanyama, and then Henry Coffey, copywriter at Mischief at No Fixed Address, coming in to talk about the NPR work that's already racking up awards, Gino.
Yes, it is, Jack. A great slate today. What are you most excited about?
I'm excited about bringing in the Nike spec work.
Yes.
Yeah, Asher Hyde, he's already blew up seemingly overnight, but
has he dropped out of college is going to be my first question.
He's 20 years old. He goes to USC. We're going to ask him, you can drop out of college? Boom.
He's good.
That's how you do it. He's great. Our first story, top story that we're going to talk about before the 2-minute drill and before the interviews. Chili's. Baby back ribs.
Baby back. Lizzo stepping in for a new version for Chili's baby back ribs, redoing the iconic song, bringing her style and twist on it, Jack. The agency that did this is called, hold for me for one second.
It's advertising time.
It's advertising time. What a name for an agency.
It's a great name. They're just a micro agency. It's these two guys. It's Matt Sorrell and Jonathan Marshall are a micro agency. They've been doing a lot of work for Chili's lately. If you remember when they did Chili's did The Office themed, they did in Scranton. They're working with Chili's again. So it's just these two guys, and they're both freelancers, and they just are like, well, let's just be a micro agency if we're going to do all this work for Chili's. It's advertising time. One of the great agency names you'll ever hear. But they got Lizzo back. Gino, what are your thoughts on this?
Listen,
they're leaning on the heritage. They're doing a little remix. What do you think?
I like the beginning of this. It actually sounds really good.
Yeah,
of course. But I like how they play into it right away. She's like, why would I ever do this for money? So it's like they're leaning into it really nicely. It's fun, and they have her own twist on the song here. So I am a fan overall. Like, it's something that I would probably blast in the car myself if I had a car.
You're such a liar. That's such a lie. No. I will let you glaze. I will not let you go all the way to say that you will play this in the car.
New Year's Eve, let me take you back, Jack, because you calling me out. I want to remind you, 2019, Lake Geneva, New Year's Eve, I was playing Lizzo at the party, at the pregame.
No, you weren't.
I am a known fan of Lizzo.
That doesn't matter. I'm talking about a commercial jingle. You're not going to play that. Can we get the camera back on us? I can't be screaming at him without the. What are you talking about?
I like the song. I would play it.
I would like the song that much to play it for people in public.
No, I never said that. I never said I would play it in public. I said I would play it in my car.
You want to listen to Lizzo's Chili's song, everyone? So you don't have a car, first off. Second off,
I said already, if I had a car, I would play the song in my car.
You're ruining the integrity of the live show when you say things like that. You're taking it too far to say that you would. You're like, oh,
you don't like Lizzo. Why don't you like Lizzo?
I do like Lizzo. I like Lizzo as much as anyone, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, I'm going to play Lizzo's Chili's song over any of her other dope-ass songs. It's a good song, and they brought it back. What do you think about the idea of bringing heritage back for Chili's?
Jack, I do like this. I do like this play overall. I think you are kind of a jerk face for calling me out, not saying I would play this in my car.
Patrick Herberts in the YouTube chat says, oh, you like ad jingles? Name 10. Name 10 ad jingles right now. Let's go.
10 ad jingles.
That's a tough one.
That's crazy.
I'll let you take your time. While you're at home, a little play-along game, if you can name 10 ad jingles, put it in the chat.
Okay, let me see here. Oscar Mayer song, that's one.
What is that? Which one's that?
Like when they spell out the name.
Oh, yeah. I am stuck on Band-Aid brands because Band-Aids stick on me.
What else?
We are farmers. Bum, dun, 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 dun,
we are farmers. Then
773-202.
Empire.
Nope.
Cars for kids.
Cars for kids. All right, get back to the Chili's stuff because they've been on a heater. George Felix, CMO, he was just named or he was last year's CMO. Yeah, last year's CMO of the year, and then this year they were the brand of the year by Ad Age, and their head of social also won social person of the year. So they've been on a heater in Chili's, so they bring it back. They did something similar. They did Boys to Men last year with Mischief as another version of the song. So they're just playing the hits, which I think is good. Like, you have to have a balance of new crazy stuff, but then play the hits.
Yeah, there's some nice touchbacks to like the original 90s spot in this too. So it's not like completely changing it up here. Interesting to see like this move from Mischief. Like, when do they use Mischief? If they still use Mischief versus using this agency here.
It's advertising time. Yeah. Micro agency. I would love to talk with them because I think it's interesting right now, the use of micro agencies that are it's two people. It's literally two people, and they probably have they just bring in production partners and all that to bring it to life. And with a massive big time brand like Chili's, there's a ton of marketing infrastructure where they can kind of do a lot of their own stuff in house. Yeah, it's like let's just bring in the creative crazies over here to help come up with crazy ideas.
Yeah, totally. You don't need the whole crew.
I was talking with Ari Rubin, he's the head of content for Air. Air essentially has their own in-house agency, shout out Air. And he was like, yeah, I don't think more than a month at a time when it comes to like creating a new campaign or content. Like, obviously they have their things, but what he's talking about is like for ideas. So I was like on the call with him. He's like, yeah, if you have any ideas, let me know. It kind of makes me wonder, like, if you're this micro agency, you're almost if you're just constantly thinking about ideas for Chili's, how valuable is that for Chili's to be like, we can pretty much make anything happen, but let's do something. I know that went off on a tangent, but.
Yeah. I mean, like, they have the marketing infrastructure in place. They knew that they revamped the actual rib product. So bringing them in to create one spot
Have you ever had the baby back ribs?
Well, to bring them in for like one spot is different from a whole campaign. When you think about like the Wyden and Eli work, it's not going to be like a month-long thing. Yeah. So it's like looking at what the actual deliverable is, then the timing matters there.
Back to my question.
Have
you ever had the baby back ribs?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Chili's, to be honest with you.
Well, me and you, we didn't have a Chili's in Lombard.
We had like a Ruby Tuesday?
Ruby Tuesday, Bennigan's. We'll talk about Hooters in a second.
For sure.
But that's all I got on the Chili's stuff, just like a fun thing to kick off the show with George Felix and Chili's, a brand that award-winning and does it the right way. So I would say if you're a marketer, you're in the advertising world, take a look at the last 2 years of what Chili's has done, because it also has worked. Like, more people are going to the stores. Chili's sales are up. People are loving it. It's producing
triple dipper.
The triple dipper. It's
people
wild.
love it. People love the cheese pull.
Should we get into the 2-minute drill? Let's get into the 2-minute drill. It's everyone's favorite segment. The world is losing their minds over the 2-minute drill. It's the biggest topics of the day in marketing. 2 minutes each topic. Let's run it. Okay, Nike and Wayne Rooney, Gino.
Yes,
Nike,
sir.
Very big campaign. We saw the teaser where they are going to have 44 different celebrities and athletes, and we saw the first sort of drop today.
Yes, Jack. So we see a collab here between Nike and Wayne Rooney, and the brand is It's called Palace. Is that the clothing brand? Is that correct,
Yeah, the
Jack?
clothing brand. So Nike and Palace have a little collab here, Gino.
Yeah, so they bring in Wayne Rooney to represent England. He's doing a Shakespearean monologue, if you will, and then it gets surreal. It just goes on. I personally struggled to understand what was going on in this, but it was intense. It made me feel something. How did you react to this ad, Jack?
I loved it. Are we able to see it? I don't know if we can. I saw it for a second. Yeah, I'd love to just watch along here with all of us that haven't seen it. But it's Wayne. I loved it. Honestly, don't care if I didn't really understand it because I felt a certain way.
For sure.
And I don't think that my barometer is like, I don't know if I'm necessarily expecting to like be thinking about this commercial for years to come.
Yeah.
But I think in the moment I was like, yeah, I feel kind of fired up and motivated for Nike, and now I know about this brand Palace as well, and their collab, which I didn't know about earlier, because I kind of stuck around the whole time and it made me feel a certain way.
Yeah, I think what's another thing that we can note here is I don't believe this was created by Wyden, or we don't have the official mark on that yet, but it's not reading from the sources that we're checking out. There is no Wyden credits on this.
Sources
so this
say?
might be separate from what Wyden is planning from the larger campaign perspective. And the speculation that we have, and you let me know if you disagree, is it going to take a more global approach for the World Cup, like looking at specific countries and building specific ads around those countries.
Always interesting when you lean into nationalism, Gino. But I think that Nike did it tastefully here. Because they've drawn a lot of different figures and people that come from different places and backgrounds within England.
Yes.
I think it landed well in a world where it can absolutely not land well if you're going for the nationalism side, Gino.
For sure.
Next up, OpenAI has a new business CMO. Not necessarily a replacement to Kate Rao. Kate Rao, who's stepping back from the role as she continues her fight with breast cancer. And so OpenAI is brought in a new business CMO. So it's not a replacement for Kate. It's a kind of a newish role, business ad side. Colin Fleming comes over from ServiceNow, which tells you what you need to know about where OpenAI is heading when it comes to how they're monetizing and growing the business side, Gino.
Yeah, Jack. ServiceNow, I did a little bit of research here. B2B software, AI platform for business transformation here. Colin seems like the guy that's a little bit more brand first, which I like to see here. He's got that long-term vision, but he's not afraid to move fast because, Jack, I don't know if you caught this, he was a former F1 driver.
Shut up.
Swear.
You're kidding.
Swear.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So he's built for speed, man. This guy was a former F1 driver.
I mean, this is amazing. We're gonna get him on the show for sure. We're already in conversations. Don't even worry about it. I mean, thoughts on this LinkedIn post, this LinkedIn reveal. Earlier today, I shared that I was leaving after the most meaningful chapter of my life. He has hard to overstate how surreal that sentence feels. He's got a lot to battle up against, Gino. I mean, on the business side of OpenAI, everything's an ad network. Everything's ads. You think it's not ads? It's ads. OpenAI is ads.
We saw the call out from Claude and Anthropic in the Super Bowl around just this, about ChatGPT installing ads within the product and that migration. So they already got called out earlier this year. So this is what he's already going up against this. We see Gemini.
Interesting.
Also integrating their ads.
Interesting.
Apple building in their ads.
OpenAI more feels like they're leaning into the consumer side versus the enterprise side where Claude is sort of living. I wonder about if OpenAI is trying to bolster up the enterprise B2B side of things for chat and codecs and all that. Hooters rebrand.
I'm calling this the Hooters holdback. There's CEO Neil Kiefer is on a mission to make Hooters more friendly, more family friendly, if you will, Jack. So less sexualization and just not so much into the inappropriate side of what Hooters has built the brand off of.
Yeah, the last 15 to 20 years, they've kind of been, I think that you talk about having a very clear brand, Gino. When a clear association with Hooters and sexualization, and they're trying to, he said, quote, and it's coming back to be acceptable humor. He's talking about the name of the double entendre of the name Hooters, but it was over-sexualized too much in the last 15, 20 years. He added, that's the CEO at Hooters. Probably a welcome change, Gino.
Probably not to the diehard Hooters fans that go for that reason.
You mean the creeps?
Yeah, it's like, are you actually going to grow a new audience because of this? Or do you kind of, do you retain your current clientele?
Hooters feels like so dead in the water to me as a brand. Like it doesn't have, like nobody's going to Hooters like they were. They're all going to Chili's now.
I love the excuse why people go to Hooters, which is they have really good wings.
Yeah, I know, but I have had the wings at Hooters and I did not like them.
Some people, it seems to be like that's their excuse.
Their calling card?
Yeah,
they're like, I don't, it is probably a long time coming for a brand. I mean, it would be one thing if Hooters was like making billions of dollars a year and people were like lining up to go to Hooters.
Yeah.
But clearly, like, maybe that whole brand was something that worked a decade plus ago.
Maybe the brand is done for.
It might be done for.
Yeah.
Next up, a brand that's not done for, Primark global campaign. It's their first ever global campaign. They're trying to get people in America to figure out what the hell Primark is with a pretty cool little like spy movie sort of commercial here, Gino.
Yeah, they're tapping in a heist kind of theme here. But what is Primark? It's a fast fashion retail outlet here. It's really kind of known in, I believe, Ireland, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have 40 stores already in the US. But here it's all about awareness in the US. So starting in New York and Herald Square here, they did an activation with Sarah Jessica Parker. They had blue bagels, they had cabs come to it, building an experience because this brand does not have a lot of e-commerce. It's not built on e-commerce. It's built on showing up into the actual retailer.
Yeah, and talking about like the commercial itself, kind of like, I mean, maybe it's overdone, but the spy heist thing sort of plays for me, and I think they did it well.
Yeah.
I think it was like pretty entertaining as far as like this trope goes, but you obviously understand like you're getting a steal on the deal.
Steal on the deal, that's
Steal
right.
on the deal.
That was made by VCCP, so shout out to VCCP on that. But do you think that buying clothes, is the future buying clothes back in store?
No, not as much as people are hyping it up to be.
Because you got Rent the Runway now, you got Amazon, you got these direct-to-consumer brands and these actual business models.
You know what I'm gonna swear. Everyone okay?
Swear,
with that?
Jack.
You know what I fucking hate? You know, do it when I say. You know what I fucking hate? Is like these stores that you go and try on the clothes in the store.
And they send it to you?
But you can't bring them home. They're like, okay, you can just order it online. Because you know who doesn't do that, Gino?
Who?
Rothmans, New York menswear. Check it out. After the 2-minute troll, we'll do the ad read. Shout out to Rothmans. Bob's Red Mill has a new logo, Gino. Do we have a Cracker Barrel situation unfolding before our very eyes?
Let's pull it up for the people to see here.
Bob's, what do you say? Is this woke or not? Is this woke?
Is this woke?
This is what people are actually asking online. Bob's Red Mill. If you scroll down, shout out to Fast Company. This is the article that we're looking at. Look at the old versus the new. It's reminiscent of the Cracker Barrel change, Gino.
Oh yeah.
Are you offended by this?
No, not offended by this. I think like, wait, can we scroll it over there? It's just like the sanitation of branding. Like we even did it with Breaking Entering. We used to have like this shattered logo and a lot of texture, but it seems like once brands hit a certain mark or they actually think about rebranding, it's all about simplicity here. So that's a classic rebrand to me.
The reasoning feels like it makes sense. If you see the old logo, it is kind of a little bit harder to read, and you don't really know what the brand is that made that. Obviously, now it's very clear that you're buying Bob's Red Mill. That was their whole point. I almost feel like it's less about the minimalism and more about make the logo bigger.
Yeah,
I think we all can agree.
And Nate Rosen, who's the co-founder of Express Checkout, was on the show yesterday. He actually had a good point, like, you know, thinking about the grocery store aisle, how do you pop out? You got the red on the top there from the design standpoint, pops out, the logo's bigger. It might help people find the brand easier when they're walking down the aisles.
Yeah, I want to know if the chat wants to let us know what they think about this new logo. Like, does it matter? Because you just go through the what Nate Rosen is saying. The whole point is to get people to remember the brand. But of course, we're gonna miss the old guy.
Yeah, who is that dude?
We're gonna miss the old guy.
Is that Bob?
I believe Bob passed away.
Oh.
Some of the internet was a little upset because allegedly, I would need to be fact checked. Bob passed away, and then they got rid of him on the logo. So people were like, "What the hell?"
Maybe that was like in his will.
Yeah,
and
he
stuff.
passed away in 2024. Okay, that was okay, I'm sorry. That felt like I was kind of shooing away. But Bob's Red Mill, new logo. I do not think we're gonna have a Cracker Barrel situation. It doesn't feel like a big deal.
No.
Cracker Barrel thing wasn't a big deal either.
No.
Hey, before we get on with the rest of the show and get into our action-packed, jam-packed interviews, which first we're gonna have the Asher Hyde, who made probably one of the most viral concept spec ads of the last few years, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen anything get as much buzz as this Nike Wemby Nuns ad that's taking over the internet. Complex covered it. He's 20 years old. He's going to be in this, not in the studio, but virtually. He will be joining us live to talk about how he made it and all that. And then getting some comments here from the Bob's Red Mill logo. Patrick likes the boldness of the red for sure. And Jack said stands out much better on the shelf. Great name, Jack. Patrick, Jack, thanks for jumping in there. But Yeah, before we get on with the rest of the show, Gene, would you like to do our ad read?
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Rothmans. Now, this is a fourth generation family owned independent menswear store celebrating 100 years in New York City. They know what it's all about. They have all the best of the Soho menswear stores curated in one roof. They take the New Yorkers as they are and dress them better. That's you, that's me, that could be you listening or watching this right now, Jack.
Yeah, I freaking love these guys. They believe in us. They believe in the live show, and they give us the chance to do this. So it means a ton to us. Check out Rothmans ahead of your next promotion. Big pitch coming up. You got weddings coming up this summer and fall. Big meeting, big life moments. Go to their New York City area locations. I go to the Union Square flagship location and mention breaking and entering when you're there for 10% off. And if you have to order online, if you're one of our friends that are joining in from across the country or the world, use code BREAKING10 at checkout at Rothmans Menswear for 10% off your purchase. That's code BREAKING10, Gino. I believe, are we good to move on with the rest of the show? We are. Joining us right now is Asher Hyde. Asher Hyde, 20 years old. He just put together the viral Nike spec work, Wembanyama, the Nuns. Let's bring him in, shall we? Asher.
What's up? How you guys doing?
We're great.
well.
I want you to know, Asher, I think you are the youngest guest that we've ever had. So congrats on that.
Well, I'm honored. I'm honored. Thank you guys for having me.
Well,
Thank you.
it's a pleasure. I think first off, I've been following your stuff for a while. I think a lot of people that are plugged in see the concepts that you're putting out. And but of course, this one, the Nike Wembanyama Nun thing, just completely exploded. When you made it and put it out, did you expect? Were you like, this is a banger and people are going to love it? Or were you shocked by the reaction?
You know, it's funny because it's like there's always a thing that's like, well, it's always going to be the thing you least expect. And I thought it was cool. You know, it was something I make. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. But I really, you know, I put it out before bed, which is something I never do. I usually try and post in the mornings. They just say that's better. And yeah, so I put it out at like 10 because the game just ended. And it was like one of those things where you go to bed and you wake up and you open your phone and then you just see it. I think I saw it was on Complex, and then on my own page it had over a few million views, and on TikTok it had millions of views. So I was definitely a little surprised at the speed of it, but like looking back, I could kind of piece together what it was. But yeah, always a good amount of luck involved for sure.
So I want to get a little bit of context on you as a student. Like, is this for a class project? Was this something that you do, like passion project? Yeah. Give me the rundown.
So for people that don't follow me, which I'm assuming is most people listening, basically what I do is I'm a design student. I'm an aspiring designer. I want to get into fashion design, but obviously with that, there's many layers. There's the marketing element, obviously the apparel design, but the marketing element is the most important. So for me, what I'm doing on my Instagram is I'm just taking all the companies that I'm inspired by and that I look up to, and I'm just kind of taking all those design elements and I create these concepts that kind of, I think the way I described it was like you can absorb every piece of content that a company creates, but like when you like actually create it yourself using Photoshop, and we'll get into the AI stuff, I'm sure. But when you actually create it, that's like the exercise, and that's me like kind of cementing whatever I'm learning. So for this one in specific, actually wasn't that. It was more just cool imagery. And I think that's what's really important about what happened is kind of just like, we'll get into it. I'll let you guys, yeah.
No, the natural follow-up is, so what did you use to make this concept? I think a lot of people ask about like what tools are you using and how you made it.
So it's a bunch of reference images plugged in together while using AI as kind of that tool to aggregate them all together. So it's not necessarily prompting in terms of I want Victor Wembanyama standing between the nuns. You know, it's a good amount of editing. It starts with basic images and it's just kind of piling them all together. So yeah.
So it's like, so you get all these different reference images that you find. I'm sure you found a bunch of, these pictures of nuns and, you got obviously plenty to choose from with Wemby. And then you kind of use that to plug into some sort of like AI imagery, like software, to bring it and put it into a canvas sort of thing. And then I imagine like you're using Photoshop as well. So like, how does it go from like, because I don't know anything about designing. So like for me, explain this to me. Like, how do you go from the reference images to like the final product?
Yeah, so for me, it's all just mood boarding, which is the same thing you'll see if Nike was doing it themselves, which is you're just collecting images and kind of placing them all together and kind of saying, well, I like the lighting from here, but I don't like the camera angle. So let's use the camera angle from here. And then this image, he's doing this, but I'd rather him have his hands behind his back, like stuff like that to kind of put it all together. And that's where you could say the taste might come in terms of AI will kind of just, it's more of a dice roll and you have to tell it what you want to do. And yeah, over time, that's something that just gets developed. But I mean, Nike is doing those things internally. Like, let's say they're doing a photo shoot with Wembenyama themselves, which they've only done two. And we can talk about the lack of, let's say, star representation there. But,
Yeah.
they're doing the same thing. It's just they're doing it with a camera and in a studio and with him himself. But that's not something that can be done in the playoffs. So there's this huge opportunity kind of for them to take their same process, but do it in these reactive moments, such as the playoffs, such as the finals, or even like when awards are won. There's a lack of representation there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, I don't know like what all the legalities of like when it comes to using all that, but obviously you're in such a great position to be able to just create the concepts. And like, I think that's the cool thing is like you can make that and it's like, it's very clearly like concept spec work. And so it's great that you're able to do that. Gina.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, where did you get the confidence to just slap the Nike logo spec style across this campaign?
You kind of just have to think about it like they're not going to, like, the worst thing that's going to happen, in my opinion, and it hasn't happened to me ever, is just they're going to take it down. They're going to see it. It's very easy for them. You just have to report it. And if you have an at Nike.com and multiple people do it, and I don't know what else it takes, but the post gets taken down, which for me, it's like, okay, it's whatever. That's a few hours of work, not the end of the world. Keep going. But I wouldn't say it's confidence. It's more just like, it's something I found cool. I'm just trying to grow a portfolio. I kind of really don't look at things too much after I post it. I kind of just post it, let it marinate. If it resonates, it does. If not, great. But yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it, where it's just like part of doing things is like, if I were to do something or create something that Nike themselves would create, it wouldn't resonate. Like that's part of what might be cool is that I have this freedom in a way to kind of create, like, Nike would never use nuns.
Yeah.
They had their, like, I put SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, in it. He's technically a Nike athlete through Converse. They wouldn't put a shot at him. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that I can do and angles that I could take. But yeah, I mean, it's worked. Like, I think where we're seeing marketing going is, I was having this conversation yesterday with one of my mentors, but it used to be 10% ideas and 90% execution in terms of marketing, even apparel design. And where it's shifting to is spending 90% of your time now on the ideas themselves and making that idea as amazing as possible. And then that execution becomes easier.
I love that.
Yeah, with AI, it's like we have this opportunity, like the ideas should be getting better and they will be getting better. And I think part of also why people may have resonated is they kind of were able to look at this and be like, well, Nike's not hitting, like, this is what they should do, is something kind of that like plays into Wemby, plays into the storyline that's happening right now.
I was going to ask you about where the idea came from. Like, where were you? Were you talking with a friend when it all clicked?
I was just watching the TV. They kept showing the nuns. I actually saw a few days before the Pope wore Nikes, and someone just made that into a Nike ad. And I'm like, people kind of find like the concept of a religious figure who's people probably associate with being less what's the word I'm looking for? Like less engaged with,
right.
what's the trends.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too, is like these nuns and like something so relevant, like Wemby beating the Spurs the night before. But yeah, they were at the game. There was these nuns at the game that were cheering them on, and they were like praying. They were blessing the players beforehand, before the game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's incredible. I was gonna ask about, like, so now, I mean, are people blowing up your line? Like, have you been getting a bunch of outreach for it? You don't have to say anything you don't want to, but I imagine you're getting a ton of interest. Yeah.
You'll see two types of comments, and it's gonna be like, Nike will sue your ass in the ground, or it'll be like, oh, Nike's gonna want to talk to you after this. I think I have some conversations set up. I don't know what those are gonna be like in terms of, it's gonna be like, hey, what you did was a little, crossing the line, after me, like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I think it's worked. I think,
if the post is not down yet.
The post isn't down yet. If it was, I will say right now, this is not legal advice, Asher, but I think that if it was bad, they would say, they would be like, take it down, this is bad. Versus, I don't think that they would set up a call. Now we're just doing like advice time, which you don't need any, but it's like, I think you'll be good. And it's your point, it worked. Like whether or not people are so weird in comment sections anyway. People saw it and people reacted to it, and you had Complex talk about it too. Was that crazy to have Complex repost?
That was cool. It was actually in the same day. I mean, we could go. I know we have time, but in the same day, Complex posted two of the things. Another way that you could do AI was the day before, which also went somewhat viral, not to the same degree. But I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you saw the Nike football for the World Cup campaign. They had
yes, yep.
Kim K. For me, I saw Adidas there. I saw Adidas do this insane ad with Timothy Chalamet, where they had everyone in this world that they built together. And Nike, all they did was just like, you saw like the Polaroids. They just put the Polaroids, and it was carousel. And it was cool, but like no one got to see all of those huge figures in a world together. So I created this image, which was, for me, took longer and was more challenging than the Wemby photo, but I think it was like 32, 33 of all of the people in the Nike ad kind of posing together on this bleacher. So Complex posted that too. So I saw that first. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And surprisingly, not one person in the comments was like, this is AI. I think one person was like, oh, this might be Photoshop.
Right.
But, that was with no reference images, and just, like when you don't see it on my page, people actually could like believe it. So like for Nike, there's this kind of, I don't think you'll be seeing anything 2026, but, come next year, come 2027, 2028, you could start, you gotta look a little closer if that's something you
100%. Yeah. Totally. It is. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation for someone like you, it's really interesting to hear how you use the tools to be like, cause it sounds like, I think that you have a clear enough focus in mind to be like, I'm not going to just prompt an AI for everything. Like you need to have the taste, and you need to be able to like engineer it similarly to how people probably used to use Photoshop when they're deep in the weeds.
Yeah.
Asher, I think that's all we got. I don't
say to follow along.
Yeah, look at that. What a legend. Also, congrats on 100K followers.
Thank you.
And so now, I guess last question: Are you on campus still? Are you at USC right now?
I'm on campus. There's no one here. I'm just in LA, just enjoying the summer, working. But yeah,
that's awesome. What are you doing this summer?
I'm actually about to start my own clothing line soon. So in the weeds of doing all of that.
Let's go.
Yeah, just doing some freelance work on the side, trying to raise some money for it. Can't hurt. Grow the page. But yeah.
Asher is available for freelance work. That's all I need to hear. Well, hey, let's send us the clothes, man. I'm going to be Ashered out. Appreciate you hopping on. Congrats on taking over the internet. Of course.
Thank you guys.
Asher Hyde. We'll see you. Boom.
Thank you guys.
That was great.
You don't need to wait for permission, Jack.
I know.
You got an idea.
He's got the right mindset, don't you think?
Just go frickin' make it.
Don't you think?
I love that.
Asher Hyde. Our next guest, moving on with the show, Gino. Our next guest is not a guest. We're gonna do the voicemails. That's right. We're gonna listen to some voicemails. For those that are not familiar, we have our guests send in advertising ideas to a phone line. We listen to those voicemails of their ideas. We react to them. We clip them. We send them to the relevant CMOs and executives to see if they want to take a look at it. It's the most democratized way of getting your idea out into the world.
Stolen.
Yeah, no one's allowed to steal it. But let's listen in. Let's get our first voicemail. Are we ready to go?
Hey guys, it's TJ from Tampa. Just calling with an idea for an ad campaign. This one is for Genesis, the luxury car brand, and it features a song by none other than Genesis, the band. So we opened a few years back, and as a young man professionally dressed, not too stylish or inexpensive clothing, kind of like his first job, maybe even under a bus stop sign, standing on the corner. And we see the lonely man there in the corner. What he's waiting for, I don't know. And around the corner comes a nice Genesis G70. But he waits every day now, and he's just waiting for something to show as it goes by in slow motion, and he stares at it longingly. Fast forward a few years, you see the same man, a bit better dressed, looking in the same direction, and the song plays again, and around the corner, here comes a nice G90. And he waits every day now. He's still waiting for something to show as the car goes by, and he once again stares longingly before walking into his office building. As the car drives off, went ahead of myself. Next time we get to the present day, same man, but now he's well dressed. He's up in his corner office. He checks the view before leaving and gets in the elevator with a young man. Looks like he's just starting his first job. As he goes down to the parking garage and gets into his nice 2026 GV80 by Genesis, he turns on the radio, and what do we hear? The same Genesis song playing. He smiles to himself a little bit, enjoys the comfort and luxury of a sedan, and as he drives away, he sees the young kid that he just passed in his office standing on the corner, staring at him longingly as he drives away slowly. And we cut to Genesis. Reward your inner drive.
You had to get in the character there.
Yeah.
You had to get in the, new rule. I think the idea is maybe let's go less than 45 seconds.
That's fair.
I do appreciate the pretty much just getting the script.
Yeah.
You just read the script for the whole thing. It's all worked out. Appreciate that level of detail.
Yeah.
Is the idea itself, Gino, reward your inner drive.
Reward your inner drive.
Interesting little a little coming of age story, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's like there's this way to really reach men is to sell potential, like sell the future state, what you can achieve here. It's like the inner drive of people. So it is a core truth that you can always go back to. So that's why I think this, in theory, could work.
But if it's a Genesis, he had me as soon as he said Genesis. One of the great clips of all time is Phil Collins in Business Casual. In Business Casual, playing the drums.
That's a Hall of Fame band.
For you, car ads are interesting right now because there's a shift away from. I think there's a resistance to the classic car ad. This feels like taking inspo from some more familiar car ads these days, which trying to tell a story versus just showing the car driving.
Yeah.
And you just, does it move you to be like, I need a Genesis? Specifically, a Genesis.
It would definitely make me feel a little bit better about the Genesis if it's done well. I appreciate the brand story of it and the effort there.
I do. I like the story because it's reward your inner drive. This guy goes, he clearly gets promoted. Mm-hmm. He started from a place, and I think it's an interesting position to say Genesis is for people who work their asses off to get to where they're at.
Yeah.
If you drive a Genesis, it doesn't mean that you were born on third base. You have a Lamborghini, that's probably because of it's daddy's money.
Yeah.
Genesis is the luxury car that you earn. Thoughts on that?
I do really like that.
Isn't that pretty good? I don't know. Is that already a thing that they talk about, that they do?
I'm not sure. I'm looking up how much a car goes for.
Because if they do, then I just don't know about it. But imagine that. Interesting. Like a working man's luxury vehicle. The Genesis.
Got some numbers here. So the GV80 is $59,000.
Yeah. I mean, You know, that's a in luxury level. I don't know. I haven't been in the car market ever. So
No, like probably like $100,000 for a car. Like that is definitely expensive. Don't get me wrong, but that's not impossible for a hard worker.
But I guess the other side of it is
you don't have to be born on third base.
if you're trying to sell the dream of what you could be, if you're envisioning yourself, wouldn't you just want to go all the way to like a Porsche or like another luxury vehicle that maybe symbolizes that status better than Genesis?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair argument.
But I like
But
it.
it's reachable. Like
It
as
is.
smart goals, it's got to be attainable.
It is. At least it's different.
Yeah.
Reward your inner drive. Reward your inner drive. That was pretty good.
We'll tag Genesis on that.
Yeah, we landed in a
That's
pretty good
something
place. Who's
yeah.
Genesis owned by? Genesis? Or are they owned by a bigger brand? While Gino looks that up, let's play the next voicemail. We're only doing 2 today.
Hyundai.
Second voicemail owned by Hyundai. Let's hear it.
Hey, Brands, it's me again. This one is a great idea. You need to do live shows for like your diehard fans and give them like little, leaks or whatever of like new products you're coming out with, or just like flip some ideas by them, because that I love Mountain Dew and I just want to know what the next flavor is, okay? And I want to know where it's going to be. So brands out there with the cult following, like start a live show. I don't want you to like hire some like host or something. Just get like Barry and Kevin from accounting and wherever, and just give them a mic and just talk to people about your stuff. All right, that's a good one. Bye.
So you got the example here. Let's use the example of Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew. The idea is from Jim from Illinois is that Mountain Dew should have their own live show for their cult hardcore fans for new releases and new drops, exclusively released during the live show.
Yeah.
For the audience.
It reminds me of like the Taco Bell keynotes. Now they're streaming those for like the large product launches.
Yeah.
Like Taco Bell has
Live
the
Mod?
cult, they have the cult following, and they've done the Apple style keynotes, and now they're integrating the live within that, and that's probably once or twice a year when there's big drops. But like, I'm not sure if he was trying to say like more consistently.
Consistent. I think like consistent. And he was saying get like some random guy in accounting to just do it. You don't have to hire. You don't have to make it a big production.
Yeah.
Move towards lo-fi and just go live. What if the guy was just like live from his desk and it's like, hey, this is Larry from the finance team. Just letting you guys know. They told me I need to tell you guys about a new thing and we're live right now.
Yeah.
I could see people like leaning into that and making it funny, but
What would be a brand that you would tune in live for once or twice a week?
Starbucks. New coffee drop. They're dropping new flavors every freaking day.
Yeah, that's like Sonic has all those like new products too. I'm thinking about that brand. Like it would have to be one that is consistently changing.
I think brands are definitely
Jerry's.
underutilizing the live experience.
Yeah.
As someone who's biased towards believing in the live experience, brands are really underdoing it and they're not really trying that hard. And I think that's an opportunity missed. Like you should be live at all times.
There's no talking points, counterpoints.
Yeah,
like
right.
there's, if you have a sensitive brand or one that has a lot of stockholders, like there could be some issues there if you go off script and say the wrong thing. I can get that, but
Relinquish control. You can't control the reaction. You have to relinquish control if you want to win the social game. You are not moving fast enough. None of you are moving fast enough to keep up with the creators and the people that are getting attention online.
For sure.
You need the
3 times the speed of culture.
Rob Mayhew, Rob Mayhem always says that. You have to
good.
move at 3 times the speed of culture, Gino.
Totally.
Or else you will be left in the dust.
I just love the idea of constantly feeding your loyal
I
fans.
agree.
If you're in a loyalty rewards program, you should get a link. You should get opted into like a live show.
If you, Taco Bell honestly has figured out the format. It's so funny that they do, what is it, like Massapalooza, Taco Bell Taco Cella kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where, for those that don't know, Taco Bell, it's like when they have, every year they do an Apple keynote sort of drop or show, and the clips from it are great. That's the other thing too. If you're doing a live show as a brand, just clip that thing
And
up.
everybody's capturing content there and like their own perspectives, the influencers that show up. So it goes beyond just
Hosted by Benson Boone as well. That thing, I mean, it's one of the great moves.
Does
So
a
between
backflip.
those two voicemails, which one do you like more, Gino? Let's gamify it a little bit. Our first idea was Genesis, coming of age, reward your inner drive, tells the story of a guy going through life. He starts at the bus stop, makes his way to the corner office, and then we get the loop of the story with the next kid kind of following in his footsteps. And then our other idea was brands should do live shows, namely Mountain Dew should do live shows.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the
Two very different ideas.
The ad is great. Like, I am a fan of the ad. It reminds me of John Lewis, Adam and Eve, DDB type like storytelling work there. So I'm going to give that 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
And then the marketing strategy or the social strategy of going live, 5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it just makes sense as a strategy. Like, and even if you are like a sensitive brand, figure it out.
Figure it out.
Like,
you can have a kill switch.
have a kill switch. You can have like the 30-second delay, whatever it might be. Like, freaking do it.
Gino's advice: figure it out.
Yeah.
I think the brand should do live shows. I don't know if we can reward that level of detail with the idea.
Oh, yeah.
Feels more like just a statement.
Oh, I thought, yeah, like when we added our analysis. Like,
Well, of course, we had the creative direct. We had the creative director.
We just had to land the plane.
The guy had a full script for the Genesis
gotta love
idea.
that.
He had the full script, and he did a great job with it. For the future, if people want to just send in an idea, you can just do that. It can be like 30 seconds.
Where is he from? Tampa?
That was TJ from Tampa. TJ from Tampa. Big time idea there.
Good ideas under the
So
sun.
if in 6 months, when we see Genesis put out Reward Your Inner Drive with coming of age story, will you be surprised?
No, not one bit. That's stealing candy from a baby right
Dude,
there.
this
You can
happens
take
way
that.
too much. Whenever we post about a new campaign, there's always one comment that's like, reminds me of the Tootsie Roll work in 1946. Totally stole it.
Oh, there's like no new ideas.
Well, at this point, how could you have a new idea?
You gotta just make it your own.
How about, because you know what? Have you heard the thing where it's like every story is just a Shakespeare?
For sure. Yeah, what storyline are you going to uncover? That's,
The story of my life, dude. Story of my life.
Somebody else has already lived that.
Natasha Bedingfield said the rest is still unwritten. Well, let's move on with the show because our guests are ready, if that's correct. Gino, do you want to tee this one up? Because this is a big moment for all of us.
Yes, this is
if we're gonna be honest.
really interesting for us. We don't usually do this,
Oh,
but
we're going to play the spot first, by the way.
Yeah, we'll tee it up a little bit.
We'll tee it up and then we'll play the spot and then we'll...
But yeah, this is new to us. You know, we cover advertising and marketing, but every once in a while, agencies, brands trust us enough to break news exclusively, and that's what we have for you all folks today. The people from Arts and Letters, a creative ad agency based in Richmond, Virginia, has been working with ESPN. Last year, they created the Chirpline. Now they're bringing it back again this year for the NHL Finals, the Stanley Cup Finals here. And well, we can play the spot for you all to get all the context that you need. Ross, let's
The Stanley Cup playoffs are on ESPN, and you know what that means. The ESPN Chirpline is back. Call in with your phone or call in with the new ESPN Chirpline booth coming to an arena near you.
Hughes looks like he just spent the night in a haunted mansion.
McKinn and Sam's are so stoned, they belong in a museum.
Sidney Crosby can skate to my living room any day.
Whoa, it's getting hot in here. Call 1-844-4-CHIRPIN. And don't forget to catch the Stanley Cup playoffs and Stanley Cup final live on ESPN and ABC.
Boom. Oh, look at this. The green
Look
screen.
at this. This is looking good here. I'll do some intros here. We got Brett Simon, Creative Director of Arts and Letters, as well as Chris Kim, also Creative Director, Arts and Letters. You guys worked on this. I'm assuming you guys worked on it last year as well, and this new iteration of this Chirpline for ESPN. Is that correct?
That is correct. First of all, thanks for having us on, guys. Nice to meet you. But yeah, Chirpline was an idea that we kicked off last year that really drafted off that insight for sports fans that we all love to talk some trash. I mean, let's be real. But for hockey fans specifically, I feel like they take it to almost a professional level. They have their own word for it, chirping. So we wanted to draft directly off that, create this hotline called the Chirpline where NHL fans during the playoffs could call and vent about their team, maybe vent about their opposition, maybe an opposing player, maybe just about their annoying neighbor down the street. But it's just like a really fun outlet for NHL fans, and a way for ESPN to connect directly with them.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense if you are someone who's plugged in. And also for ESPN, obviously, because ESPN in the last few years has gotten the rights to the NHL playoffs. Is that right?
Yeah, it's something that NHL has the playoffs most every year. Every now and then they'll swap the finals.
Oh, okay, got
other
it.
networks, but we're lucky enough to have it this year, and I think that's why ESPN wanted to double down on the Chirpline, and bring it back with a new evolution.
So I want to ask, I mean, Brett, it must have worked because this is the second iteration. It must have worked last year. Can we talk about the results from Chirpline that last year and now bringing it again this year?
Yeah, they got about 2,000 calls last year, and it was a big success. But I think this year, bringing it back for year two, we've gotten more than triple that. I think like 20% of that came from the city of Philadelphia, just Sidney Crosby, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But yeah, this year's been a lot bigger. The Chirp booth has been at ESPN HQ and at the Canuck in Midtown in New York, and it's traveling to the Stanley Cup final, to either, it's looking like potentially Raleigh or Vegas. So keep an eye out. This thing is going to show up at an NHL arena near you.
Nice. So then when they ask for the next iteration of this, that they want to go bigger, is that where the phone booth idea came into play?
Yeah, that's where it came into play. They didn't want to just launch the hotline again. So this year the plan was we launched the hotline quietly back in May when the playoffs started. And then ESPN wanted to show up in a big way closer to the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final itself. And yeah, I mean, so far, hockey fans are really pumped about it. And some people have just called in to talk trash about random people who aren't hockey players at all. So that's been interesting.
It's evolved to like a rage room of some
It's a
sort.
little bit.
It's a rage room. Yeah.
It's starting to get nasty.
We're hockey fans therapists, we like to say a little bit.
Yeah, it's cathartic more than anything.
Oh, and especially because especially using the physical phone. There's something about grabbing the physical phone and just slamming it into after you rage out for a little bit.
I see the next iteration already, a rage room on like at bars. Like
you're just promote like bar fights. You're just like sponsoring bar fights.
That's what hockey's all about.
It is.
Sure.
The fighting culture is real. I want to ask. I feel like there's so much opportunity with like for social content, whether it's stuff that you all are making or earned with bringing this thing to life, and like because people just have a fascination with phone booths in general. Like people literally will go into a phone booth just to take a picture. That has to feel. Is there a strategy now for like the social stuff for it to live on further, or is that year 3?
Honestly, that's a great question. We haven't fully thought about what year 3 is yet, but it is part of why we wanted to go with a little bit of this retro styling that we have on both the booth and even the way the spot looks last year, all the collateral pieces that we create for the Chirpline and the Chirp booth itself. It feels like kind of that early aughts, late 90s retro styling is very in right now, and it also connects with people. And we thought it connected well with people who are both into the sport, but also might be on the periphery too, who might just be able to connect to it because they're like, hey, I remember the hotline, spots that were on in the middle of the night when I was a kid. Like, what is this thing? I'm going to pay attention a little bit more. And maybe I'm not a hockey fan, but I'm going to call into this hotline now too.
Yeah. So remind me then, I can call in, talk trash about one of the teams or what's going on in my personal life, it seems like too. But I can call in, and then what could happen? Can ESPN post this? What could happen here?
Yeah, the best ones get picked out and they wind up on ESPN shows. Mostly The Point, which is the show that PK Subban hosts.
Mm-hmm.
There have already been a bunch of segments of the best chirps that have come out, but they're gonna amp it up as we get closer and closer to the final.
I as a media organization that also has a hotline and voicemail, I'm very privy to the behind the scenes of this. Who's combing through all the voicemails?
Great question. A really dedicated account management team at Arts and Letters and a couple of people over at ESPN. It's a lot to go through, but
Is
it's
there a
really
mental toll on that
No,
team?
there has to be a mental
Like,
toll. It's like you can only work on it for an hour at a time, and then you have to
Yeah.
take a 20-minute rest.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
We
what I
got a
heard.
pitch count for the Chirpline.
I think that's great. And then I want to ask about just working with ESPN, working on ESPN. Obviously, such a cool brand to work with. If you're a sports person, if you grew up watching ESPN, it feels very native to a lot of people's childhoods. How important is that? Is respecting the past of ESPN, leaning into it like you did here? But of course, we want the brand to continue to grow and try and push new boundaries. So how has that been, just working on the account?
It's been amazing. I think A&L, honestly, the core of this agency came from a background working with ESPN. So it was, we were lucky enough that they came back as a client, and we've, just been able to grow the other pieces of work that we've done with them. And yeah, like you're saying, it's great to be able to draft off of the brand itself and the biggest sports news network in the world. But it's also really fun to be able to work with clients who are excited about doing something new and fresh, like the Chirpline here, that, it's something that they've never really done before, but that they're seeing that they're speaking to a whole new audience of sports fans that are out there.
I mean, I'm just looking at the chat right now on LinkedIn. Brendan Howard, creative at Arts and Letters. He said he's ready for the brief, guys. I think he's referencing probably the earlier discussion around the social media stuff. I just want you to address that right now. Brendan Howard, creative at Arts and Letters, says he's ready for the brief. Brett, reaction.
Yeah, we'll talk to resourcing, Brendan, but thanks for chiming in, bud. Really, really great to hear from you live. I will also say, like, in reference to Chris talking about getting to new audiences, if you'll notice, behind Chris's head spilling out of that bodega bag is the Chirpline burner phone.
Oh, here we go.
Another new element we've got in the campaign this year. It is a prepaid, no contract required burner phone that we're sending out to influencers across the sports and pop culture space. It is a real functioning phone straight out of 1999. So you'll start to see that pop up on an influencer page near you over the next week.
Two things. First thing, masterful segue there by Brett to promo the Chirpline phone. That is like the PR and comms team is like high-fiving right now. But it's a great point because I could use a burner phone, Gino. You talk about all the time. I think we kind of want two phones each. Status symbol.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta be able to separate work and personal life here.
How'd you get the phone? Is that just a question for the production crew? Like they've got to now source a bunch of burner phones, and then when you'd source the burner phones, was there any FBI investigation into trying to understand why someone might need hundreds of burner phones?
We didn't ask too many questions. We just requested several hundred burner phones, and they showed up at Arts and Letters, and we put them in the box. I think the key with burner phones is just leaving a little bit to mystery.
Of course,
yes.
Of course. Gino, anything else you want to ask the duo around ESPN, the Chirpline, NHL playoffs?
No, I mean, it seems to be working. The strategy, like bringing you guys back in, and you're elevating it now. You're expanding the idea. The NHL fans must love it. The brand must love it. You guys must love working on it. So I am all good on my questions.
Do you guys have any questions for us? You guys have any questions for us?
No questions, but we did ask the agency if they had any chirps for the breaking and entering crew, and we do have a couple.
Let's go.
Let's read them. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. Number one. Breaking and entering is a bold name for two guys who look like they would turn themselves in for an unpaid parking ticket. Number two, Jack Westerkamp sounds like the name of an evil 1800s oil tycoon who just evicted me from my home. And last but not least, if Gino's mustache gets any bigger, he'll need his own 80s cop show.
That's incredible. Well, first off, those are getting scrubbed. That's that's not making the final cut of this episode, by the way. Second off, Gino,
who said that? Who said that?
Names?
Yeah.
Names now.
We're not naming names, not today.
That's why you get the burner phone.
Richmond's not too far, Jack.
Yeah, I got
Richmond's a quick flight.
I'm gonna do some scrubbing.
My squad's showing up.
If my ops want to pull up face to face, let's do it let's do it outside right now in New York City. I'll send you my address. We can have it out. You want to talk about?
Sounds great.
We'll talk about crimes. Here we go.
maybe as a peace offering, we'll send these two Chirpline hats.
Oh, yes.
Love that.
your guys'
Need that.
way.
Hey,
No, all love, all love.
it's all.
Hey man.
Hey,
man.
I'm not going to think
It's
about
just like
this.
hockey players. You get a tussle and you're good.
This is
Yeah,
that
it's all
is
about
gonna-
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a respect thing. Well, thank you both so much, Arts and Letters. Thank you for the chirps, bringing us back to earth and reality. And everyone, go check out the work. It's great, and follow along. I think we'll be seeing more for the chirp line. Call on the chirp line.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks,
both. It's pretty funny.
They're good.
I'll tell you what, the production crew back there laughed a little bit too hard at those jokes. Ellie was a little bit too excited
We'll
to hear
be talking
those
about
chirps.
that.
That'll be
talking about
discussed for
that
sure.
post-show.
Wow, what a segment, Gino. Electric. Thanks everyone in the chat for hopping in. What a moment. The chirp line, Gino.
Anything in the comments? I
Yeah,
hope nobody
plenty.
better agreed with them or laughed at that. So.
Paige said all caps, here we go. 7 exclamation points in reference to the chirps about us. Masterful comm strategy. They're asking about the hat. I think that was them trying to plug the hat, of course. We have some ha-ha-has. But most importantly, we have a little bit of a segue into our next interview segment.
That's right.
Because this is from Paul in the YouTube chat. NPR's campaign is the best campaign Mischief has ever done. I so want to marry that campaign. It's so freaking perfect.
Yes.
That is from our comment section right now.
Who said that, Paul?
Paul said that because right now we're going to bring in the copywriter. But after we show it, thank you, Ross.
Yeah, we'll show it here. And Paul, somebody might agree with you. That would be the D&AD award show because this campaign has already gotten a pencil for brand identity refresh. And that's exactly what Mischief at No Fix Address has done with NPR here. We saw a couple months ago the rebranding of the letters, all about curiosity, how, why. These are some of the things that they've been doing. And now we're seeing another iteration of this campaign, the next phase of this, with 3 30-second spots here, films that are absolutely incredible,
Let's show
talking
it.
about curiosity. Henry Coffey will be joining in a little bit here, but let's show the spot.
Who gets to be American?
For more than 2 hours, the Supreme Court discussed if all babies born in the United States, regardless of their parents' status.
I'm excited to see it because I've never seen them on stage. That's a great thing. I'm glad that my folks are coming, and I thought maybe we should.
Why are groceries still so expensive?
Grocery prices have actually outpaced overall inflation over the last 5 or so years. And mind you,
How much influence do those feeds have on my kids?
Hey guys, it's TJ from Tampa.
Oh, TJ from Tampa for a second. That was the NPR work, and now we're going to bring in Henry Coffey, copywriter at Mischief. He worked on it. Henry, welcome to the show.
It is an honor to be here. Thank you. And thank you to Paul in the comments for the kind words. We don't deserve it.
Shout out to Paul here. Henry, congratulations. Just a little context for the folks here. You're a copywriter that worked on this alongside other people as well here. Do you want to give a shout out to your art director partner that helped out on this?
Absolutely. I'd love to give a shout out to my art director, Nithya Charles, who's unbelievably talented, and a huge shout out to our creative directors on this, Rafael Beretta and Rafael Franzini, who are 2 of the most talented people I've ever met. And like a perpetual lesson in craft when you hang out with them.
Of course.
This has to be a fun one, and not to mention that you and your partner are both part of the Adweek Creative 100 Rising Agency Talent. So you guys have some accolades already, and this NPR work is getting a ton of love in the awards circuit already, and rightfully so. So let's talk about it. I mean, this is, you're working on NPR, obviously such a big name holds a lot of weight. How was the experience for, first off, like getting brought into this?
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is like one of the most iconic brands in America and maybe the world. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say. And so you never think that in your first year in advertising, you get to touch a brand like that. And I think Nithya and I both grew up with such an interest in journalism and listening to NPR in the backseat of our parents' cars. So this was something we were thrilled to even get a shot at. And especially because, public media was defunded in 2025, and this was such a singular opportunity to define what public media stands for. And I'm really proud that we got to do it and end up in a place that feels like, to stand for curiosity and to defend the public's right to be curious really felt like the right statement to make.
Yeah, this is heavy work here. This is heavy work. And, to be just being transparent, we're just being frank with you all, for a junior team to grasp this and to execute on these heavy topics is unbelievable here. So how do you get to this point with the films itself specifically? Is it good research? Is it spending time with the brand? How did you land on these film ideas, or the team? How did the team land on these film ideas?
And I think that's why they ended up in a place that we're so happy with.
Yeah, and it's a pretty heavy, just like the cut. You can't help but have a reaction to when you cut the audio, and it feels like unique. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have my encyclopedic knowledge, but seeing something like that, it almost feels like that is the idea, is that hard cut and getting to that point. So Henry, I want to hear. Just like the editing feels like it really carries a lot. It's a great core idea and insight, but for you, I guess, when the team is thinking about coming up with this idea, how big of a part is the actual edit when it comes down to it?
I think that was crucially important, and especially because we wanted the viewer to feel this growing sense of curiosity, and I think that's why these are so uniquely paced. And so I think for us, the pacing and the timing was everything, and the time spent crafting that was extreme, to create that moment where we start to resolve your curiosity by showing you what that person is looking at, but still leave this sense of energy and momentum moving into NPR's content. And I think that mirrors the way that NPR's content works, which is it resolves your curiosity that you have immediately, and then, inevitably extends that curiosity. So I think you're completely right that so much of the concept here was in that edit and that pace, which we felt was unique and hopefully unignorable for that reason.
So what has been the biggest learning so far for you working on NPR, on the original launch and now these films as an advertising creative?
Just the biggest takeaway, essentially. I think the biggest thing, especially working with these two incredible creative directors, is how much advertising is about distillation. I've known that, but just getting to the core of this idea about curiosity and stripping away until we had these films. I think you learn as a creative in school, you often think that you just need to add more funny things and more funny lines and more interesting stuff. And I think entering the working world and working on a campaign like this, you realize how much it's about taking away and making sure that the correct thing is left.
Yeah, the clarity is so important.
And then this was shot on film. It was, right? Was it 35 millimeter film, Henry?
Yes, Kodak 35 millimeter, I believe. And that was also a dream. just as a creative, you always would love the opportunity to shoot on film. And I think because these are so observational, and they have this beautiful natural quality that kind of mirrors journalism, film just felt like such a cool choice to elevate it. And the color grade on these is something I also really love, building off that film.
I want to ask now. I want to ask about, you've had success as a junior creative, and there's so many people that are trying to get jobs as junior creatives. There's also a lot of maybe agencies out there that aren't necessarily emphasizing or prioritizing hiring full-time junior creatives. From your perspective, talk about advice for people who are trying to get that junior job, and then also your experience working as a junior creative and being able to make an impact at an agency.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard time to get in. I mean, I know I felt that 1 year ago trying to get a role. And I talked to a decent amount of, aspiring junior creatives now who are so smart and driven and have great work. And it's just all about finding that moment of opportunity. And I think something that helped me, especially just facing the anxiety of trying to get in this industry, as you two know, we did some fun stunt work in ad school, like Ads for Rats. And I think the thing that was great about that is we were just trying to demonstrate having agency skills without being in an agency, and almost, I think just trying to do your own work that stands out, and not just stands out on your website, but that stands out in media online that could, generate real eyeballs. There's something that's almost takes away the stress, because then you're not worried about getting someone else's permission. You're just actively trying to impact culture in whatever small way you can. And I think any ripple you can make on your own as a creative with any project, it has such a huge impact on actually getting a foothold in this industry. But I also just think it is a challenging time, and sometimes it's like you have to take 2 internships and put it together to get a junior role in this industry.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Asher Hyde. We just interviewed Asher Hyde, who's 20 years old, goes to USC and made the Nike spec work with Wembanyama and the Nuns.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, but it's like, imagine if he just kept that in his book and just like fired it off. It would be much different. Like, I think that's so interesting to hear your take. Like, put something out in the world. You all did it with Ads for Rats, which like permeated especially in like the ad industry world, which I think is really smart.
Yeah, didn't you guys get USA Today as well? Or
yes.
Yeah. I mean, it broke through the advertising media world as well, which I think is so great.
Yeah.
It's badass. That's just Henry life. So how's the team feeling now, the NPR crew? Also, to what you can speak to, like the client relationship and working with NPR. Like you said, it's such a big time civic brand. I just want to hear about the experience with the team and the brand before we let you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from my experience as a young creative on this project, NPR has been an unbelievable partner, and just such a huge part of crafting this vision and this whole statement. And I mean, I think the team is just incredibly excited to get to touch something like this and to get to make a statement like this. It's not common in this industry. And I don't anticipate that like I will get to make a statement of this type for quite a long time. It's not something you can expect to walk through the door. So I think we're all just incredibly excited to have been a part of this and to do something we all believe in this much.
Yeah, I mean, you talk the NPR, the timing of it felt so right by NPR too. Like you kind of let the whole public funding thing, that's all I knew about NPR for 6 months straight.
Yeah.
It's like you just hear about how and everyone, it feels like it's one of those things where everyone is like so against it. And then for them to actually be like, okay, let's make a statement, let's do something big here, feels like a really well-timed thing for NPR, and it's kind of shifted the perception, not the perception, but shifted the narrative that's going on.
Listen, you tap in a great agency with great people like Mischief. I mean, you're going to get some good work. So I think it's a great investment, and a great investment for NPR to make a stand.
Henny Coffee. That's a new nickname I just came up with. Henny Coffee. That might stick.
Henny Coffee.
I like it. I like it.
Thanks so much. Congrats to you and the rest of the crew at Mischief for the work with NPR. And excited to keep following along. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, Thank you, guys. Huge fan.
Henry, legend. That was pretty badass. What a show. What a show. That was our last interview. If you missed the show, if you want to go back and watch, we covered a lot of ground, Gino. We started talking about Chili's bringing back baby back ribs as the top story. Then we talked about with Asher Hyde, USC student who made one of the most viral spec concept ads we've seen in the last few years. And then we talked with Brett Simone and Chris Kim, the crew at Arts and Letters. They debuted new work. They're bringing back the Chirpline. They debuted it on the show. If you want to talk with them. And then they also roasted us, which was, I'm sure many people will love that. And then we had Henry Coffey just join us now, talking about the NPR work. He's a junior copywriter working on a big-time brand and making some big-time moves.
Great show today. Great work. How do you feel?
Feel good. I feel great. The chat was alive. I want to get MVP of the show today is the chat.
The chat.
The chat wins my MVP today. Great stuff. Just